The first time I saw the white powder under my stall, I thought nothing of it. It was a strange white powder, spread in a neat line along the ground. Before that day, everything had already started falling apart. My business was dying slowly. I sell beautiful fabrics at the market. That stall is my pride. I built it with my own hands. Yet for many months, customers stopped coming. People walked past me like I was invisible. Even when I greeted them with a smile, they refused to stop. The money I used to start was gone. Every day, I went home with almost nothing. I could not understand. My fabrics were still good. I treated everyone well. Still, my life was sinking. I woke up each morning with sadness sitting heavy on my chest. Things were even worse at home. My husband, James, had changed. He would come home, eat in silence, stare at his phone, and go to bed. If I asked him what was wrong, he would brush me off. Our house felt cold. Our love felt broken. One odd Tuesday afternoon, business was very slow. A customer at the next stall dropped a coin. It rolled until it slipped under the wall of my stall. I bent down to pick it up. That is when I saw the powder. I touched it. No smell. Soft like flour. My first thought was that it was just from the wood. Maybe insects were eating the wood and this was the dust. Or maybe the old wood was just rotting and falling apart. I shook my head and swept it away with a broom. I did not think much about it. I had too many problems to worry about. Little did I know that strange powder was the first sign of all the trouble that was to come. The next morning, I was at my store, arranging my fabrics without any real hope. Then I heard a voice I had not heard in many years. Hello. I looked up and my heart stopped for a second. Standing there was Amina. Amina, who was once my sister from another mother. We grew up together in the same neighborhood. We shared everything. We were inseparable until the day we were not. I had a boyfriend named David. I loved him deeply and I trusted Amina completely. I would tell her about our plans for the future. But then, David started to become distant. I found out later that Amina had started seeing him behind my back. She stole my first love and shattered my heart into 1,000 pieces. The betrayal was so deep, I never spoke to her again. That was over 10 years ago. And now, here she was, standing in front of my store as if no time had passed at all. She smiled a small nervous smile. It is really you, she said. I heard you had a shop here. I had to come and see you. I did not know what to say. I just stood there holding a piece of cloth, feeling all the old hurt rush back. I know I do not deserve to be here, she continued. But I have carried this guilt for so long. What I did to you, with David, it was the biggest mistake of my life. We were so young and so foolish. I was a stupid girl who did not know the value of a true friend. She looked like she was about to cry. I am not here to make excuses. I am here to say I am sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I have prayed for forgiveness for years. I miss you. I miss our friendship. I am begging you, please, can you find it in your heart to forgive me? I looked at her. A part of me wanted to shout at her, to tell her to go away and never come back. But another part of me, the part that was tired of all the fighting and sadness in my life, saw the genuine regret in her eyes. The hurt from David was a long time ago. I had moved on. I had married James. That old pain didn't have a hold on me anymore. So I took a deep breath. Amina, I said, my voice calm. What you did hurt me very much. But that was a long time ago. We were young and foolish, just as you said. I have moved on with my life. I forgive you. Her face lit up with relief and hope. She reached out to hug me. But I took a small step back. Forgiveness was one thing, but trust was another thing completely. After Amina left my store that day, my mind was not at peace. I had said the words, I forgive you, and I meant them. The heavy anger I carried for her for so long was gone. But in its place was not the warm sisterly feeling we once had. But for Amina, it seemed like she wanted to open a brand new book and write a whole new story with me. The very next day, my phone started to beep with messages from her. Good morning. I hope you have a blessed day at the market. Thinking of you, my dear friend. The messages came every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. She was trying so hard to pick up right where we left off over 10 years ago. I would reply with short, polite answers. Thank you. You too. But I did not encourage her. Then she started coming to the shop. At first, it was once a week. She would buy a small item like a headscarf and stay and talk for 15 minutes. I did not mind that so much. But soon, it became more frequent. She started showing up unannounced 2, then 3 times a week. She would arrive with a smile and say, I was just in the area and thought I would check on my friend. She would pull up a stool and sit beside me, talking about her life, her problems with her job, asking me endless questions about mine. I tried to be kind. I offered her a drink. I listened. But inside, I was screaming. My store is my place of work. It is where I fight for my survival. It is not a social club. Unannounced visits were distracting me from my customers. I was trying to keep her at arm's length. My heart had forgiven, but my spirit was not ready to let her get close. At the time, I thought my failing business and distant husband were my biggest problems. I was wrong. The white powder and Amina's return were a dangerous combination I never saw coming. Welcome back to my channel, babe, and I hope you are doing great today. If you are new here, I'm Vera, but you can call me V, and I share real life stories that will shock you, inspire you, break your heart, and sometimes make you laugh. And if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Arieto Mensa, Mrs. Aguda, and Vanessa Tenkoran. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babe. You know I love you. And now without any further delay, let's continue the story. Around that same time, a new man entered my life. Let's call him Daniel. He's a businessman who supplies goods to some of the shops in the market. I had seen him around before, but we never really spoke. One afternoon, he came to my store. Business was very slow, and I was just sitting there, feeling the weight of all my troubles on my shoulders. Good afternoon, he said with a warm smile. I have always admired your fabrics. They are some of the most beautiful in the whole market. I thanked him, thinking he was just being polite, but he stayed. He did not just look at the fabrics, he looked at me. He asked me questions, not just how is business, but real questions. You look thoughtful today. Is everything alright? I cannot tell you how long it had been since a man looked me in the eye and asked me how I was feeling. James had not done that in many months. That was how it started. Daniel began visiting my store regularly. He would always find a reason to check if I needed any supplies, to see if new fabrics had arrived, and he never came empty-handed. One day, he brought me a cold bottle of my favorite soft drink. Then he bought an expensive scarf from my own store and gave it right back to me. A beautiful piece for a beautiful woman, he told me. My heart was confused. A part of me, the part that felt lonely and unloved by my own husband, was flattered. This man saw me. He listened when I talked. He made me feel special and appreciated, feelings I had almost forgotten. But I am a married woman. I made a vow before God and my family. Every time he gave me a gift or his compliments became too sweet, I would gently push back. Daniel, this is too much. You should not spend your money on me. I am a married woman. Please remember that. My husband will not like this. I said those words firmly, but Daniel was persistent. He did not give up. Oh, it is just a small gift between friends, he would say. A beautiful woman should always be reminded of her beauty, married or not. I am just being a good friend. Everyone needs a friend. His words were sweet and smooth, but inside, I was at war with myself. My marriage was cold and empty. Here was a man offering warmth and light. It would be so easy to just let go, to accept the comfort he was offering. But I stood firm. I never accepted his gifts without trying to pay for them. The weight of everything was becoming too heavy to carry alone. The loneliness in my marriage, the strange pressure from Daniel, the constant presence of Amina, it was all becoming too much for me. I felt like if I did not talk to someone, I would break into pieces. But who could I talk to? My mother would worry too much. I could not talk to Amina. That trust was gone. So I turned to the one person I thought would understand, my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is James' younger sister. When I first married James, she and I did not get along at all. She was very protective of her brother and thought I was not good enough for him. We had many small quarrels, but over the years, we had both grown up. We learned to respect each other. Recently, I had started to think of her as a real friend. She would sometimes visit me at the market and we would laugh together. I thought she knows James better than anyone. She will understand. One evening, she came to visit and I could not hold it in any longer. My eyes filled with tears as I spoke. I am so worried about James, I confessed. He is not himself. He comes home and does not speak to me. It is like I am a ghost in my own house. The man I married is gone, and I do not know why. What should I do? I looked at her, hoping for real advice, for some secret knowledge about her brother that could help me. My sister-in-law patted my hand gently. She gave me a soft smile. Listen, she said, you are worrying too much. This is nothing. All marriages go through rough patches like this. James is probably just stressed from work. You need to be patient. Be a good supportive wife. Cook his favorite meals. Don't nag him. This phase will pass. But it feels like more than a rough patch. I try to explain. It feels like a wall is between us. Patience, she repeated, a smile never fading. Just have patience. Men are like that sometimes. It will come around. I nodded and thanked her, but inside, my heart sank. Her advice felt hollow. It did not release the ache in my chest or answer any of my questions. For a little while, I tried to listen to my sister-in-law's advice. I tried to be patient. I cooked James' favorite food and made sure the house was quiet and peaceful when he came home. But he barely seemed to notice. He ate the food without a word and went back to his silence. The wall between us felt thicker than ever. About a week after I first saw the powder at my stall, something happened that made my blood run cold. It was early in the morning. I had gone to the back of our house to throw away some old trash. As I walked towards the bin, something on the ground caught my eye. There, sprinkled along the base of our back wall, was the same mysterious white powder. My heart jumped into my throat. I froze right there, staring at it. This was not my market stall. This was my home. At the stall, I could pretend it was from the wood or from the streets, but here, on the plain concrete behind my own house, there was no excuse. This was not an accident. Now I felt targeted. It felt personal. A cold fear started to grow in my stomach. This was not my imagination. Someone was doing this on purpose. But who? And why? What was this powder? My mind started racing, thinking of all the possibilities. Was it poison for rats? But why sprinkle it so neatly along the wall? Was it something more spiritual? I did not want to touch it, but I could not leave it there. I ran inside and got a small broom and a dustpan. I swept every bit of the powder away, brushing it out into the dustpan. I then took it far to the public dumpster down the street, wanting it far away from my home as possible. But as I walked back to my silent house, the fear stayed with me. I had swept away the physical powder, but I could not sweep away the feeling that someone was watching me, that someone wished me harm. The mystery had followed me home, and now I was truly afraid. For the next week, I was very nervous. Every time I went outside my house, my eyes would immediately drop to the ground, searching. I checked the back of the house every morning and evening. For a few days, there was nothing. I started to hope, to think that maybe it was over. Maybe whoever had done it had gotten the message and stopped. But they had not. Exactly 1 week later, I saw it again. This time, the white powder was not only at the back of the house. I found a thin line of it sprinkled along the side of the house too, near the window to our bedroom. Seeing it there, so close to where James and I slept, made my stomach turn. This was a message. And I could no longer ignore it or handle it alone. I needed to talk to someone. I needed someone with wisdom. So I went to my mother. As soon as she saw my face, she knew something was wrong. "What is it?" she said. "What has happened?" The words rushed out of me. I told her everything. I started with the powder under my store, thinking it was nothing. Then I told her about finding it at the back of the house. And now, here it was again at the side of the house. I told her how my business was failing and how James had become a stranger. My mother listened quietly, her face growing more and more serious. She did not interrupt. When I finished, she was silent for a moment, her eyes closed. Then she looked at me. She said, "This is not ordinary. This is not from insects, and it is not a coincidence. Someone has laid a hand against you." She leaned forward and held my hands tightly. "This powder, it is a weapon. Someone is using juju against you. They are using dark magic to spoil your business and to bring confusion into your home. They want to break your marriage and destroy your peace." Hearing her say it out loud made the fear inside me stronger. "What should I do, ma?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Pray," she said, her grip tightening. "You must pray like you have never prayed before. This is a spiritual battle. You cannot fight it with your own hands. You must cover yourself and your home with the blood of Jesus." She stood up, her mind made up. "You cannot wait. You must go and see your pastor. Tell him everything you have told me. He will know what to do. He will pray for you and break these curses. Go today." I left her house with a new mission. I was going to fight this person with fire from God. I went to the church that day. I walked up to my pastor, my heart pounding in my chest. He could see the worry on my face. "Pastor," I began, "I need your prayers. I need God's protection." I led him to a quiet corner and I told him everything, just as I told my mother. The pastor listened with a calm, serious face. When I finished, he nodded slowly. "Sister," he said, "you are right to be concerned. There are indeed spiritual forces of darkness that work against the children of God. But remember, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world." He placed a hand on my shoulder and began to pray. He prayed a powerful prayer. He commanded every evil spirit attached to the powder to flee. He prayed for a wall of fire to surround my home and my business. He anointed my forehead with oil and declared me covered by the blood of Jesus. I felt a sense of relief wash over me in that moment. I felt lighter, as if a physical weight had been lifted. I thanked him with tears in my eyes and left the church feeling stronger, armed with faith. By the time I got home, the real world came rushing back. James was still silent, my store was still empty, and the memory of the powder was still fresh in my mind. I looked at everyone differently. Every customer who smiled at me, I wondered, "Is it you?" Every neighbor who waved, I thought, "What is in your heart?" My mind became filled with suspicion. And then, one face kept coming to the front of my thoughts. Amina. Why did she come back now, after all these years, right when my life was falling apart? Her apology seemed sincere, but what if it was all an act? What if she was jealous of my marriage to James? What if she wanted to destroy my life all over again? She had betrayed me once in the most painful way. Was it so hard to believe she could be capable of doing something like this? It made sense. She was trying so hard to get close to me again. She was always at my store, always asking questions. Was she gathering information? Was she using a vessel to secretly sprinkle that powder when I wasn't looking? The thought terrified me. I had forgiven her. I had let her back in. And now she could be the one trying to destroy me from the inside. I decided I could not just pray and wait for something else to happen. I had to take physical action. I had to protect my spaces. My mind was fixed on Amina as the main suspect, and I was determined to block her from harming my business any further. The next morning, I went to the market early. The first thing I did was get my broom. I swept thoroughly under my wooden stall, making sure not a single grain of that white powder remained. I swept it all out into the dirty street where it belonged. Then I brought out my tools. I had brought some thin pieces of wood and a hammer. I got down on my knees and I nailed the wooden pieces along the bottom of my stall. That same evening, I was at home trying to rest after a long, tired day. I heard a knock on my door. I was not expecting anyone. I opened it and my heart sank. It was Daniel, the man from the market. He was smiling warmly. Good evening. I was passing by and I thought I would check on you. You seemed a little stressed at the market today. I was shocked. He had never come to my house before. This was a line he should not have crossed. My home was my sacred space, especially with all the trouble happening. Daniel, what are you doing here? I said, my voice tight with panic. You cannot be here. This is my home. It is just a friendly visit, he said, still smiling, not understanding the seriousness. Before I could finish the sentence, I heard another sound, the sound of a car engine. I turned my head and saw my husband James' car pulling into the compound. My blood ran cold. James got out of the car and his eyes went straight from me to Daniel, who was standing at my doorstep. I saw the look on James' face change. Daniel, finally sensing the trouble, quickly said, I was just leaving. Good night. He walked away quickly, but the damage was done. James walked past me into the house without saying a single word. He did not ask who was that. He did not yell. After Daniel came to my house, the air in my home became like ice. James did not speak to me for 2 whole days. He would come home, eat the food I placed in front of him, and go to sleep. I was so focused on this new problem with James that I almost forgot about the powder. I had boarded up my store and I checked around the house every day. But for a while, there was nothing. I started to hope again that my actions had worked. Maybe the person saw the boarded up store and got scared. Maybe the pastor's prayers had broken the case. But I was wrong. A few days later, I was taking out the trash in the evening. I walked to the side of the house, the same place I had found the powder last time, and there it was. The white powder. It was back for a third time. It was sprinkled in a thin deliberate line along the foundation, just like before. When I saw it, I didn't even feel scared anymore. The person was telling me, you cannot stop me. Your prayers cannot stop me. Your bots cannot stop me. I am still here. I stood there in the fading light, looking at that powder, and I knew that talking would not help. Telling the pastor had not made it go away. I needed proof. I needed to see the face of my enemy with my own 2 eyes. Right there, I made a decision. I would not sweep it away. I would not run to anyone for help. I would become the hunter instead of the hunted. I would wait for them. I would catch the culprit in the act. I went inside, my mind made up. I was tired of being a victim, tired of being afraid in my own home. It was time to fight back. I was going to stay up all night, every night if I had to, and wait. My plan was simple, but it was not easy. I decided I would stay awake and watch the back and side of my house from my bedroom window. The window had a good view of the area where the powder always appeared. The first night, I was determined. I waited until James was snoring softly in his sleep. I sat on a chair by the window, wrapped up in a blanket, my eyes staring into the darkness outside. But nothing happened. The night was long and quiet. When the sun started to rise, I was exhausted. I had not slept at all. The second night was even harder. I was so tired from the nights before. My eyes felt heavy and I struggled to keep them open. A few times, I dozed off for a few minutes, only to jerk awake, scared that I had missed something. Again, the night passed with no sign of anyone. I felt drained and frustrated. Was I wasting my time? The third night, I almost gave up. I was beyond tired. My body ached from lack of sleep. James noticed I was not myself and asked in his cold way if I was sick. I just nodded. That night, I fell asleep in the chair by the window almost immediately. I woke up in the early morning with a stiff neck. Nothing. I felt a deep sense of failure. But on the fourth night, something changed. I was so tired, but a stubborn fire kept me awake. I was angry now. I would not let this person win. I sat by the window, my eyes fixed on the darkness. Then around midnight, I saw it. A shadow. It moved at the far end of the yard near the fence. I held my breath. My whole body tense. The shadow moved closer, stepping into a patch of faint light from a distant street lamp. It was a woman. She was dressed in dark clothes with a scarf covering her head. She walked calmly and stopped near the back wall of my house. I watched, frozen, as she reached into a small bag she was carrying. She pulled out a container. Then she bent down slightly, and with a smooth, practiced motion, she began to sprinkle a fine white powder along the base of my wall. There she was, the source of all my fear, all my problems, right in my own backyard, the person who was trying to destroy my life. When I saw her sprinkling the powder, a terrible anger filled my whole body. I moved quietly out of my back door. I walked across the yard, my bare feet making no sound. She was so focused on her work, she did not hear me coming. I reached out and my hand closed tightly around her arm. She let out a sharp, terrified scream and dropped the small container she was holding. It fell to the ground and white powder spilled out. I spun her around to face me. The moonlight fell on her face. It was my sister-in-law. I could not believe my eyes. What is this? I shouted, my voice shaking with anger and hate. I pointed at the powder on the ground. What are you sprinkling around my house? Tell me. Just then, the backlight of the house flashed on. The back door slammed open. My husband, James, ran out, his eyes wide with alarm. Behind him, I saw the faces of our neighbors, walking by the screaming. What is going on out here? James shouted. Then he saw me holding his sister's arm. Let her go. My sister-in-law started to cry immediately. James, she wailed, pulling away from me and running to her brother. She scared me. I thought I was being attacked by a thief. I stood my ground. James, she's the one. She's the one who has been sprinkling this powder everywhere. At my store, at the back of the house. Here, I caught her. Everyone turned to look at her. For a moment, there was silence. Then my sister-in-law wiped her fake tears and looked at me with wide, innocent eyes. Why are you so angry? She said, her voice sweet and fake. It is nothing. This powder is nothing bad. Nothing, I almost shouted. Then what is it? Why are you putting it around my home in the middle of the night? She looked at James, then at the neighbors. It is just a powder for good luck, for protection. I went to a man of God and he gave it to me. He said it will bring blessings and chase away evil spirits. I was trying to help you. I know your business is bad and your home is unhappy. I wanted to bless you secretly as a surprise. What? My mouth fell open. I could not believe the lie coming from her mouth. But James believed her. Oh, he believed her completely. His whole body relaxed. He let out a sigh of relief and pulled his sister into a tight, comforting hug. It is okay, sister, he said softly, patting her back. It is okay, I understand. You were just trying to help. What? He looked at me over her shoulder. You see, he said, his voice cold. You see how you overreact. You attacked my sister for trying to help us. In that moment, my heart broke into 1,000 pieces. He did not ask me if I was okay. He did not question why his sister's help had to be done like a thief in the night. He did not even think for 1 second that I might be telling the truth. He immediately took her side, held her and comforted her while I stood alone, the villain in my own backyard. The days after I caught my sister-in-law were the worst of my life. James did not speak to me at all. Then 3 days later, they all came. I was in my kitchen trying to cook. I heard the front door open and the sound of several voices. I walked into the living room and my blood ran cold. There was James, sitting stiffly on the big chair. Next to him sat his mother, my mother-in-law, her face looking serious and disappointed. And standing beside her was my sister-in-law, her eyes already red like she had been crying. This was not a friendly visit. This was a meeting. They had all come together to talk to me. The problem. Sit down, James said, his voice flat. I sat down on the small stool opposite them. My mother-in-law spoke first. My daughter, she began, but her tone was not warm. What happened the other night has brought a very big shame to this family. Then my sister-in-law started to cry. She wiped her eyes with a cloth. How could you? She sobbed. You have destroyed my name in this community. Everyone is talking about me. The neighbors, they are pointing at me. They are whispering that I am a witch. A witch. All because you attacked me for trying to help you. She looked at her brother and mother, playing the victim perfectly. I told you, the powder was for good luck. I was trying to bless your home because I saw you were suffering. I wanted your business to improve and for peace to come back between you and my brother. That is all. And you treated me like a criminal. James nodded. She's right. Your behavior was bad. You did not think. You just attacked. Now, because of you, people are saying evil things about my sister. I tried to speak, my own eyes filling with real tears of frustration. But James, she was doing it in secret, at midnight. It was supposed to be a surprise blessing. My sister-in-law cut in, her crying stopping instantly. You were not supposed to know. That is how it works. James looked straight at me, his eyes cold. This has gone on long enough. You need to fix this. You will apologize to my sister, and you will go to the neighbors who were there, and you will tell them you were wrong. Tell them you overreacted because you were stressed. You will clear my sister's name and our family's name. As I sat there, listening to them demand an apology, something inside me changed. I looked at the three of them, James, his mother, and his sister, sitting together. I took a deep, slow breath. I looked first at my sister-in-law. I do not believe you, I said. There was a sharp silence in the room. A fake tear stopped immediately, replaced by a look of shock. What did you say? James asked. I turned to face my husband. I said, I do not believe a story. I do not believe the powder was for good luck. My mother-in-law gasped. How can you say such a thing? Because it does not make sense, I said, my voice growing stronger. If you wanted to bless my home for good luck, why would you do it like a thief in the night? Why at midnight? Why in secret? I stood up from the stool, looking at all of them. No, I am sorry, but I do not believe you. I will not apologize for protecting my home. I will not go to the neighbors and say I was wrong, because I was not wrong. I caught her doing something strange on my property, and her story does not make sense. The room was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Then James stood up. His face was dark with a fury I had never seen before. The cold man was gone, replaced by someone burning with anger. So that is your final word, he asked, his voice trembling with rage. You will disrespect my sister. You will disrespect my mother. You will bring shame to this family, and you refuse to fix it. I am not bringing the shame. I am just refusing to lie. He shook his head, looking at me like I was a stranger. You would rather break this family apart than just to keep the peace. I cannot believe you. He turned and walked out of the room, leaving me with his mother and sister. After they left, the doubt crept back in. Was I being a stubborn fool? What if it was truly for good luck? What if my fear had made me crazy and emotional, just like James said? Now my life is a mess. My home is not a home anymore. It is just a house where two strangers live. James is more distant than ever. He does not even give me the cold silence anymore. It is like I am not there at all. When he looks at me, there is nothing in his eyes, no love, no anger, just nothing. It is clear now. When he had to choose, he chose his family. He never once chose me. In the middle of this emptiness, Daniel, the man from the market, is there. His messages are constant. He promises attention, love, and a way out of this misery. The temptation is so strong to just say yes, to let someone make me feel wanted again. But I am stuck at a crossroads. I stand here, looking down two paths, and I do not know which one to take. One path is to swallow my pride. I would go to my sister-in-law, bow my head, and say I am sorry. I would tell the neighbors I was wrong and overreacted. I would do this to try and save my marriage. But would it even work? Would James ever look at me with respect again? Would I ever be able to forget that he did not defend me? Would I always be the one who has to apologize to keep the peace? The other part is to finally leave, to accept that my marriage to James is over, to walk away from a man who has never truly had my back. But that part is terrifying. Where would I go? What will people see? And then there is Daniel. If I leave, should I give him a chance? He's a kind man and he listens. But is this real? Or am I just a prize for him to win? Is he a safe harbor? Or is it just another problem waiting to happen? I do not want to jump from a collapsing building into a deep dark hole. Also, do you think I overreacted with my sister-in-law? Do you believe she was really trying to bless my home? My heart is tired of fighting. My spirit is tired of doubting. I need to make a choice. Do I stay or do I leave? Should I apologize to her? I am so confused. What should I do? Oh, babe, I'm so sorry for what you are going through. And no, I don't think you overreacted. A good blessing does not happen in the secret, in the dark. A story does not make sense. Babe, if you stay and apologize, it will kill your spirit slowly. You would be agreeing that your feelings does not matter. James has shown he would not protect you. An apology will not bring back his respect. I know living is scary, but babe, you are strong. You have a business. You can find a place. Now, as for Daniel, be careful. Do not run from one man to another. You need time to heal. You need to stand on your own 2 feet first. He may be kind, but babe, find your own strength before you let anyone else in. Do not apologize, babe. And do not stay for a man who treats you like a stranger. Take a step for yourself. Leave that toxic family behind, babe. You've got this. You can do it. And I'm wishing you all the best. Let me hear your thoughts down below. What do you think she should do? And do you really believe that powder was harmless? Let me know what you think down below. And now, I really know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed yet, come, babe, come and join the family. Please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Okay, I am done. Bye.